If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast, a show that provides insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. The title of today's show is No More Podcast Ads. That's right, we're talking about monetizing the show, specifically through show sponsorship, affiliate sales, and direct support in the form of donations. However, one way we will no longer be monetizing the show is through advertisements, right? So as of today, Thursday, August 25th, 2022, all episodes or all advertisements have been removed from the show. And for whatever it's worth, guys, this is episode number 400 and what is this episode? Episode number 407 of the show. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I'm excited to get into everything today, quite frankly. And I'm excited to get moving forward with the day because I've got 70 pounds of kimchi to make. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, also, one other thing that we're going to talk about briefly towards the end of the show is how I plan on uniting the podcast and the family business. Because after a phone call Tuesday night, I'm confident that a slight pivot in the show will drive more success and help bring everything together, and you are coming along for the ride, but more on that later. So let's get into a little backstory on the implementation and ultimately the removal of advertisements, okay? So I guess it's a little over 2 months ago now. On June 15th, 2022, episode number 370, I recorded a show titled Self-Employment, Life Planning, and Podcast Monetization. Now, at that time, I introduced advertisements on the show, and I thought, well, people monetize YouTube videos with advertisements, so why not try monetizing the podcast in a similar way? And for whatever it's worth, just as many ads that were accepted and ultimately played in the episodes, there were just as many, if not more, that I declined. And in the process of implementing these advertisements, there was some interesting dialogue in the Telegram chat group about the inclusion of ads. And you can actually go ahead and read the past dialogue if you're not already in there by joining the group at t.me/allaroundgrowth. Telegram is cool because you can use it on your phone, tablet, or mobile device, whatever. Or if you just want to limit it to desktop use, you can do that too. So, join us, join the group. Telegram's a cool platform, very easy to use, and a lot of functionality. So, the long and short of it is, after a couple months of testing advertisements with the podcast, I just decided to pull the plug. I remember initially when I started listening to podcasts a long time ago, almost 15 years ago, I really appreciated the podcast because I could listen to the content that I wanted to listen to without the advertisements. And quite frankly, the first podcast that I ever listened to was Dave Ramsey because I found that content so alluring. It was such a nice and refreshing change of pace from what we typically hear on AM talk radio. And once I discovered podcasts, I could listen to an entire show without any ads, and it was great. And shortly thereafter, I discovered Jack Spirko and a number of other podcasters that, really not a number. In the early days, I was listening to very little other than Dave Ramsey and Jack Spirko. That's kind of that's the foundation here. And in those shows, there were not advertisements. So, in this show, and not that I'm trying to mimic that, but I just, I remember, I'm not going to name the podcast, but I remember listening to a podcast, and when I first heard ads basically the way that I've done them in this show, well, I didn't like it, right? I found it kind of tacky. I found that it interrupted the flow. I just thought it was weird. But nevertheless, I wanted to try it. I'm into trying weird things. That's a story of my life. Or that's the story of the multiple lives that I've lived. And it was a cool experiment, but ultimately I pulled the plug. There's other ways that I can go about monetizing the show besides advertisements. One of which is sponsorships. And I believe sponsorship deals will help support the show financially and also provide you, the listener, with exclusive savings on products that I use and endorse, and products that are also used and endorsed by the community. Okay, so we currently have one sponsor. At the moment, York Meadow Farm sponsors the show. You can learn more about York Meadow Farm at yorkmeadowfarm.com. And York Meadow Farm produces handcrafted batches of probiotic-rich fermented foods and all-natural bath and body products scented with pure essential oils. And I will link to this in the show notes as well. But the link in the show notes will take you to a sign-up form for our email newsletter. And you want to be on this because our online store is launching next month, and All Around Growth listeners will receive a fat discount, which is yet to be determined. But, if you want to have some input as far as what that discount can be and how I should handle it, or different options that I can use specifically for podcast listeners, crypto, whatever, let me know. I'm open to ideas and open to just a flat rate percentage discount for those, which will just be easy, but also, discounts, maybe additional discounts for those who want to transact in crypto. I don't know, guys. Quite frankly, the whole crypto sphere is new to me. In large part, I buy and hold, right? The transacting is new to me, but we'll also touch on that in a little bit. Now, I've begun using and exploring and experimenting with affiliate marketing as well, from products and services that I use and endorse. Some I talk about quite frequently. Some I don't really talk about, and maybe I haven't talked about at all. But nevertheless, it's something that has an affiliate marketplace, something that I've signed up for in the case that I can talk about it. And I suppose I'm getting to a point where monetizing the show further is of greater importance to me, because I'm no longer fully employed. So this is in large part how I make a living. All right, so some of the, whatever, not some of, here's a comprehensive list, okay, of everything you can find in the all-around growth affiliate marketplace with a brief description of what it is. Okay, you can find, and I promote, and I link to, and I'm basically a commissioned salesman, if you will, for Buzzsprout, which is a podcast host. And I chose it because I think it's the best way to launch a podcast. One that's professional, one that is easy. I like it. Are there other ways of doing it? Yes. Are there other ways that I want to explore with like IPFS? Yes. If you're into that and you know about that, hit me up on Telegram or send me an email at allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, because I'm into learning more about that, and I would love to collaborate with you on that. But for now, out of all of the podcast hosts out there, and a lot of research, I chose Buzzsprout. I'm very glad I did, and I highly recommend it. I always have. Unless something changes, I will until I learn of something superior. I also promote Instacart. I'm an affiliate to. If you're interested in Instacart, you haven't used Instacart before, then I would definitely encourage you to check out the link in the show notes. I guess I should start linking to that more often, because that's a way I can make a little cash as well. And so why is Instacart the bomb? Well, for me, like I don't live near a city, all right? I live near a town, but I am way out on the kind of the suburban rural fringe, more on the rural side. But, like a mile down the road, the zip code changes into an unincorporated township. So because of my zip code location, I am still eligible for Instacart deliveries. And what's awesome about this is if you were in a situation like me, or even if you're not, even if you're just somewhere in the suburbs or whatever, like a normal person, like it's super, or in the city for that matter, it's super convenient, right? Like super convenient. And it just keeps getting better with all of the options that they offer. And it's so worth it, because in the amount of time that it takes me to place an order, and oftentimes the time it actually gets to me, it would take me longer to drive to the store, pick everything up myself, and then come here. I guess there are people that do this for a living. I don't know. It's amazing. I think that this is a service that's worth it. It's one that I continue to use. And even though I don't use it as frequently as I did in the past, for the few times a month that I do use it, I still think it's worth it for, the price of a year. So check it out. If you're interested in having groceries delivered to you, and oftentimes in less than an hour, Instacart is for you. I'm also an affiliate marketer for the 2022 Goal Setting Workbook, which I talk about all the time. I'm not going to talk any more about it right now, but if you're feeling discouraged or miserable in your job, lost in your business, this is what you want to redirect your life and provide a little bit of a rudder in the seas we are all floating in. I also promote Nozbe. Don't talk about it too much, but it's on my mind because I just got billed for it last night, and I kind of forgot about that. So, gotta go to the bank and transfer some funds around. Not like I got overdrawn or anything, but we don't want that to happen. So it's worth being proactive, and I need to get to the bank anyways and deposit a check from some side work last week. Yay me. Anyways, Nozbe is a great task manager that helps, individuals and teams get tasks and projects done thanks to this system that they have, which you can use to create projects, delegate and manage tasks. It integrates with your calendars. It's got extensions on website or web browser toolbars that allow you to capture content. It also integrates with Evernote, along as it does with Dropbox or whatever cloud-based services that you use. It's highly functional, and it's what's interesting is that it is more geared towards, it's gearing more toward teams now. So if you've got small teams, small business, maybe family, applications could be useful. Quite frankly, if everyone on the farm and homestead could get down with this, I would love it. But at this point, I'm not going to try to ask my 70-year-old parents to try and learn something new. I am down with the fact that our whole family uses Telegram, and my sister was helpful in getting everyone on board with that. So that's cool. But I think as I begin developing a business, I may look into something like this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's why you're here. You're here to learn along with me as I learn stuff and share it. And then you share it back with me, what you're learning in the Telegram group. And that's, how all this works. That's where the community is most. We're also on social media, though, so you can check all that out in the show notes as well. Please do so, where all of the links to everything being discussed and everything else will be as well. So I also talk a lot about the 48 Days Eagles community. And, if you've felt the nudge to do your own thing, if you will, for a while, maybe even your whole life, chances are you are one of us. And what I mean one of us is you are an eagle. And basically what we believe is that the best way to predict your future is to create it. And that is what we are doing in the Eagles community. We are all learning and sharing with one another exactly how we are creating our future. And that's something that I talk about in the show, is co-creating life together. And I believe we're doing that in our community on Telegram and everywhere else on social media. I also talk about Presearch, a decentralized search engine, which allows you to search privately, receive better results, and get rewarded with Presearch like tokens, which are on the Ethereum blockchain. And again, I don't know much about this, but I started using this when Jack started talking about it a year or two ago. And I don't know, I've got a few hundo tokens, allegedly, but sometimes I lose it all when I log off my browsers and stuff, because I'm not too savvy on all this stuff. So it's a bummer when that happens. Speaking of crypto savvy and whatnot, I also promote Fountain, which is a value for value podcast player. And it is the only podcast app that rewards both listeners and podcasters for the value they bring. Some of you guys out there have sent me Satoshis for content that I've created. And those of you who have done so, I am extremely grateful. I think it's awesome. This is one of the ways that I was talking about transacting with Bitcoin. If I'm not mistaken, Fountain works off of the Lightning Network. And I would really like to begin learning more. I've got a a few hundred, well, whatever. I've got some money in a few different wallets, and because, well, one of the wallets I'll talk about, I guess, right now is it's not necessarily a wallet. I don't fully understand it, right? It's an app. I don't fully understand it. I'm using it. Jesus Christ, what a hell of a way to promote something. I use it because people that I know personally and trust use this. I trust them with decisions related to most things in most aspects of life, especially financial and in the crypto spheres. So basically, with this link in the show notes, you can download the Strike app and earn $10 in Bitcoin when you sign up. You get $10 and I get $10. Value for value, right? That's how this works. And Strike is a super easy way to buy Bitcoin. And before I left my day job, I wanted to make sure that I experimented with the direct deposit feature of this through my employer, which is a small business. And you know what? It worked perfectly. Direct deposit from my paycheck, I got paid straight in Bitcoin. No fees, no nothing. That's what value is. So if you want to get into Bitcoin, don't really want to fuss around with, getting things set up or whatever. Don't want to continue buying it. Don't want to, manually, whatever. This is probably, I would say Strike is probably the easiest way to dollar cost average purchase Bitcoin. All right, so, if you're interested in this, you like Bitcoin and stuff, want to buy it, check it out. Strike, check out the app in the show notes. We both get bonuses. So what do we have to lose? And, also, if there's something out there that you are doing, if you have a side hustle, product, or service that you want to promote, feel free to reach out to me and let's talk. I don't know, maybe there's some kind of arrangement that we can make. Why don't you take the opportunity to sell me on what you're doing and why I should promote it? And I'd be happy to include it here. Talk about it. Help me help you. Like, let's create value for value amongst ourselves with the community that we're building as we co-create life together, right? Now, one other thing that I've entertained, and I'm interested in your feedback as well, is these different websites that you can use to help collect money for your show. Patreon, Podfan, Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal and Cash App for donations, right? So my question is, have you used any of those services for donations? Again, that's Patreon, Podfan, Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, Cash App. What are the pros and cons of each of those? Let me know in the Telegram chat, t.me/allaroundgrowth, because I'm interested in more ways of that I can, monetize the show without it being tacky and stupid in a way that I don't like. And quite frankly, I didn't like the ads, so they're out of here. But that's about it for today's show, guys. Like I said, I got about 70 pounds of kimchi to make today. But I did make mention of a phone call Tuesday night that left me feeling confident in the show. So in a nutshell, I plan on pivoting the show a little bit over time by sharing more of my own story regarding the products that we sell. And the idea is to bring the show in alignment with the York Meadow Farm family business. So this will allow me to leverage my story and my own passion to grow the audience and community even further. Because before, what I lacked was, the confidence in how to grow the audience. I wasn't really confident in what I'm doing, but now I'm, since leaving my job, since working with Dad, I'm feeling more confident than ever. Although this is probably the most challenging time of my life. I'm living. And that's what I wanted to do for a decade, and then some. So basically, the whole idea of all of this and the change is to drive the product demand for the business, to grow the business and get a return on investment, on my time, effort, energy, and ultimately the money that I spend to make everything happen with this show, with this farm and homestead, and with everything else. So next month I'll be hustling on a project to make this happen in conjunction with the launch of the store. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be an exciting next few weeks, and I really look forward to discussing this more with you. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away, and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. That I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. That I believe in friendship and love. Truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. You're an